Welcome back to MLB Now. Take a look at the Red Sox additions in the offseason. Very aggressive this offseason. Walker Buehler, Garrett Crochet, it's a bunch of relief pitchers that could have an impact. The big name there toward the bottom. He was signed late. Alex Bregman with a big AAV 3-year deal. Nearly $40 million a year. Some deferred money, but that's the basic math of it. Red Sox, again, Rangers tonight, Globe Life Park. Red Sox took the opener 5-2 yesterday. Red Sox looking like a club that can contend. Front Office Insights presented by Sage. We welcome in Chief Baseball Officer of the Red Sox, Craig Breslow. Craig, Brian Kenny here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning to you. The Crochet deal, that was your big trade in the offseason. #1 in strikeout rate last year. We just saw him make his debut for your club. He looked pretty good. How badly did you want to make that deal this offseason?
Yeah, I think we went into the offseason understanding that it was really important that we address our rotation, both in terms of top-end talent and also just overall the depth that we could bring in. And Garrett checks that box. A true #1 starter, a guy that you'd feel comfortable ending a slump, starting game 1 of a postseason, or kind of carrying the staff. And I think when you put him next to guys like Tanner Houck and Brian Bayo and Cutter Crawford and others, obviously we brought in Walker Buehler as well. You feel pretty good about the rotation, both in terms of kind of the top end ceiling and also the overall depth.
The Devers-Bregman situation, I mean, that's your best hitter in Rafael Devers, and you're signing a guy who also plays his position. At the very outset, when you were just planning it and talking to Bregman and his agent, how did you envision that would play out?
I think we wanted to take a bit of a wait-and-see approach, see how the roster came together, see what spring brought. There's always some unpredictability to how things progress over the course of spring training. But also, at the end of the day, the obligation that we have as an organization is to put the best team we possibly can on the field. And right now, the way that lines up is having Alex play third and Rafi DH. And, I think Rafi deserves a ton of credit for taking the position that winning supersedes everything else. And if our best team has him at DH, then we saw, his willingness to do that.
How did you communicate that to him, Craig? Because it seemed like when he came in spring training, he's like, no, I'm the third baseman. How was that explained? How was the communication there?
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense to keep some of those conversations between us. But we've had a number of conversations. We walked through, the situation. I think AC deserves a ton of credit for his ability to build relationships with our players. And ultimately, you want players who are incredibly competitive, who want to be on the field, who want to contribute in any way that they possibly can. But you also want guys who put the team first, and that's what we saw happen here.
Was that a tricky situation? Again, I know a lot of clubs, I give you credit because, look, you're putting the club first, but that's your big bat. That's your biggest, contract. How tricky is that situation saying, hey, we have to make this move. It's for the best of the team?
Well, I think anytime you have to make, decisions that involve people and super competitive people, it's tricky, it's difficult. At the same time, if you're guided by what is best for the organization, what's best for the team, then I do think it makes those conversations a little bit easier. And like I said, I think Rafi deserves a ton of credit for putting the team first.
You have a very good position player core. Wilyer Abreu can get kind of lost in the sauce there, slightly under the radar. He had a 114 weighted runs created plus last year, 3.5 win player, tremendous defender, 2 home runs yesterday. What's the ceiling for Wilyer Abreu?
Yeah, it's really easy to talk about Willie the day after he hits 2 home runs. I think 1 for each of his newborn twins, right? But I'm not sure we've tapped into the ceiling because last year he largely was platooned. I think his approach, his plate discipline has taken a step forward, especially left on left. We saw him with a great at bat yesterday where he worked a walk, but he's able to impact the game in so many different ways. He's a good base runner. He's got a great arm, obviously a Gold Glove defender, and then the combination of being able to work in at bat and also hit the ball out of the park. So we're really excited that he's a part of this young core that we've got.
Craig, we talk metrics a lot on the show. We've done that with you for years. The fielding metrics, I'm sure you have your own, but the ones that are publicly available are often conflicting. I want to take a look at like Jarren Duran coming off a tremendous season. Defensive run saved plus 17. Fielding run value, that's the StatCast metric, only plus 8. It's still plus, but it's not superstar level. Same thing now, Cedar Rafaela, who's playing center field for you, is plus 12, and then he's plus 6. It's a big difference there. How did you make the call to put Rafaela in center, Duran in left, even with both having outstanding metrics?
Yeah, so one thing that I would want to call out is it's easy to look at metrics in a vacuum. I think it's really important to get the context of what Jarren Duran did in the outfield as a defender last year relative to what he did in 2023. So we saw significant improvement. Credit to Jarren, credit to Kyle Hudson, our outfield coach. And we felt like with Ceddanne, he's a gifted defender who we probably didn't see the best of him last year because we asked him to do so much. He was playing shortstop for half of his playing time. He was playing center field for pretty close to the other half, and outside of that, he was also moving around the diamond, played some second base, and often he did all three of those things in the same game. And so we just felt like there was a tremendous defensive ceiling if we could have Ceddanne settle into center field every day. And Jarren had shown that he's more than capable of playing both center and left.
Okay. Do you have your own numbers, defensive numbers?
We do, yes.
How different are they from what we see?
They're generally directionally aligned with some nuance. Obviously, we are trying to kind of build out our own algorithms that we believe, are kind of both descriptive and predictive. And if they aligned exactly with what was publicly available, then we probably are doing redundant work internally. So I think it's helpful that they differ a bit.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, there's only so much you can tell me. I get it. You have the number 7 prospect in the sport, Christian Campbell. He got his first hit yesterday. You also have close by Roman Anthony, Marcelo Mayer. They're number 2 and number 12 in the minors. What is the plan for the bumper crop to come together?
Yeah, I think all three of them are incredibly talented young players. We're excited about having them in the organization, and all players, have opportunities to develop. The job for the organization is to balance the need for development with, the need to go out and win games and try to put them in the best environment we possibly can. Obviously, coming out of spring training, for us, that was Christian on our major league team and continuing to develop in the big leagues, while Roman and Marcelo will get some additional time in the minor leagues. But I think these are 3 guys who are going to have a tremendous impact on our organization, not just in 2025, but beyond. And also, for the 2 guys specifically who are still in the minor leagues, 2 players in Roman and Marcelo who are going to dictate their timelines.
Craig, again, your team has made big strides. I applaud you again for, it seems like everything is aligned. Jake Peavy, your former teammate, we talk about that a lot, like everybody's focus being, in one direction. I think you've done that with the way you handled the third base situation and everything else. And those guys speak very highly of you, by the way. All right, I'll send you regards.
Thank you very much. No, I appreciate that. And Alex Bregman has come in and he's reinforced that kind of singular focus on winning. He's been a great impact on the clubhouse. But I think we do have a good core in place. We're excited to let this season play out. All
right, Craig, great having you back on the show. Thank you so much, and best of luck this season.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
All right.